Well, welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and tonight is the second week of the month. And this particular week of the month, we dedicated to talking about the compensation plan. And we really want people to understand not the intricate workings of the comp plan. You don't need to know that. You don't need to know how to explain, oh, this is what this is what that is. In my opinion, you can always refer back to the videos for that. You can always send the videos to people, and you can send the paperwork, the PDF files to people so they can study if they want to know it in depth. In my opinion, the most important thing that you need to know about the compensation plan is how do you put money in your pocket? Mm-hmm. How do you put money in your pocket? And that's really how I look at it. And a lot of people, they say, well, don't you need to? No, you don't really need to know every intricate detail. You know, especially if you're just getting started today, you don't need to know what it takes to be a 10-star. Right now, what you need to know how to do is you need to know how do you get your money back. If you just got started, how do you get your money back so that you get repaid for the products that you bought to get started? And then the second thing that you need to know is now that you got those other people started, you're a leader. They joined you because they saw you because your leadership skills. So now you're going to teach them to do what you did. You're going to teach them how do they get their money back. And if you learn how to do that, just imagine if you can teach everybody how to get their money back so that they can be in Sizzle for free, and then take and do that month after month after month, and you teach your team how to do that month after month after month, you're going to find that not only are you going to get enough money to pay for your product, but you're going to start making enough money that you're going to have enough to make a house payment. You're going to have enough to make a car payment. You're going to have enough to go on vacation. And pretty soon, Sizzle's going to start sending you a luxury car bonus that'll actually pay for your car, or you use it for whatever you want to use it for. So really bottom line is, like I'm saying, is that if you learn that, you've really learned the basic skill that it's going to take you to be successful. And then if you listen to the videos and the training that we do, then you'll find out kind of that next step. How do you become a 1-star? And then you'll find the next step, that how do you become a 2-star? And then you'll find how do you start making $10,000 a month, for example, and $20,000 a month, and so that's kind of how I look at it. I think that's more important than learning how to answer each question about, well, how much volume does it take to be an 8-star? It doesn't matter. You can look that up. You don't have to memorize that. Don't clog your brain with things that you can easily look up. Rene Ferguson from Canada, now living in the United States, helping her daughter in the United States. So what's your thoughts? Tell me a little bit about what you're thinking about.
Well, good evening, everyone, and Kurt, and thank you for another invite to these calls. I love these calls, whether it be talking about compensation or the testimonies. I'm usually sitting here crying. But yes, this knowing the compensation plan, we've talked about this in the past about a typical saying in network marketing is, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. And so if you look at that, the Unilevel compensation plan, which is the name of our compensation plan, is, I'm going to say, the simplest in network marketing. And you don't worry about knowing more than what you need to. Kurt's absolutely right. Just take it in little bites. And I agree with him. You always have goals. Treat it like a business. And just take those little steps that everything's done for you on the calls. Just invite your people to the calls, or if they have specific questions, there's always somebody available to assist you. What I like to do when somebody's coming in is they're buying that Wealth Builder pack. That's 300 volume points. So there, to get to your first level of master is 1,000. So you've already got 300 qualifying points towards that 1,000. And so I like to encourage my new people to have that as their goal for the first month. Because it's not about coming in at the beginning of the month. That can be done within a very short period. The remaining 700 volume points. Say you have a friend somebody you've talked to that you know is going to come into the business, or a few customers there. Bang, you're there. That's you're creating that story. Now the way the company's changed it, just in the beginning of the new year, you don't have to hold that position 3 months before you get the bonus. You're going to get that as soon as you hit master. And you're going to hit the 125 at Master Builder. So those are exciting, very early on goals that one can be certainly within reach for even the newest person, because we've all got help, with somebody that we can talk to, and we just simply don't have to know everything. So don't let it scare you. Wouldn't you say, Kurt?
I would say exactly. Don't let any of this stuff scare you. And I think the biggest thing is, the biggest fear that people have is they have this idea in their head that somehow they gotta get the other person's approval. Like, oh no, look what Rene's up to now. And so what ends up happening is, in your head, you tend to start thinking about, well, I'm not going to share it with so-and-so because, what are they going to think about the fact that I got started with one of these deals, right? And wouldn't you say that's one of the biggest factors that holds people back, Rene?
Yes, I'm afraid so. And I laugh because this is one of those things. And I always just turn it around and say, well, what do you mean one of those things? And then usually it's because they have a lack of knowledge. Network marketing is an accredited course in many universities now. And if you talk to or listen to Robert Kiyosaki or any of those guys, we are living in the age of the entrepreneur. Because if anybody is waiting for old age security to looking after them, well, I wouldn't want to live like that. So this can give you your freedom, and you can start. I mean, here I am. Yes, I'm in Washington right now, and I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I'm helping my daughter. I'm still working every day, but I'm not making the big bucks yet. Nowhere near it in Sizzle. Most of you have been involved a lot longer than I. You're probably making more money than I am. But what I've been able to do since the very first month is pay for my products in US dollars. And I use Kurt, you can see the product side. I don't skimp. I buy that 6-pack of Age Pill because it's the cheapest way for me to get it. But I also write it off. So I'm not at a place yet of even taking enough that I can say, okay, I've paid for my products this month and I can take $100 and I've, over and above, and put that into taking that out of my business. I'm not there yet. And that's okay. Because everything I've got, everything I have made is going right back into product, which is 100% write-off on the income tax coming up the end of the year, which is right around the corner.
Yeah.
So don't let that scare you.
Right. Yeah. You can't let any part of this scare you at all. And because it's just, bottom line is it's a business. And if you make a mistake, join the ranks. Wow. I'll tell you what, every one of us has made a mistake, and you don't look at the mistake as being something that's going to hold you back for the rest of your life. Look at the mistake as a learning experience. I was watching a video. Katie, if you want to jump on, I don't know if you're able to jump on. I don't know what you're up to this morning over there in Australia, but if you want to jump on and share when Robert Kiyosaki was talking to that young lady that works for him, and he was interviewing her on that video that you sent me. What did he tell her as far as his opinion of making mistakes?
He said that you have to make mistakes to learn. He said to her in his company, because he employs her, he encourages all his staff to be entrepreneurs and to start working on a business. and he encourages them to make mistakes and own up to it. And then if they own up to the mistake, I can't remember, I'm pretty sure, I think he said he rewards them. He said obviously if they don't own up to a mistake and it's their fault, they'll be in trouble, but if they do, they get rewarded, because he's a strong believer in encouraging mistakes, that it's okay, because that's exactly how you're going to learn and grow.
And that's Robert Kiyosaki himself. He said that it wasn't one of his partners, right?
Exactly. It was him saying it directly to the young lady.
Mm-hmm. So true, eh?
It really is. It really is. And that's how you have to look at it. We're all going to make mistakes, and it's not going to be you're not going to make a fatal mistake. I mean, what's the worst thing that you can happen? Is that you're going to make a mistake and, oh, well, maybe Bob didn't get started with you because you said something wrong. Well, if you learn what you said wrong and you learn from that and you move on, it's not that big of a deal, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
Exactly.
consistency is a key factor.
Yeah, it really is. Katie, you've been doing a lot of training with your group down there. Tell us a little bit more about what you think as far as the whole idea with jumping in and not dabbling your toes in the water, but just jumping in and saying I'm doing it. What's your thoughts on that?
I feel, people need to treat their business seriously, and because if they don't take it seriously, why would anyone else? Because if you treat it as a hobby and you just put in, I'll do it when I kind of get round to it, then that's what it'll always be. But if you want to get product for free, or part-time income or a career income, then you need to put the relative amount of effort in and
Mm-hmm.
commitment to the business to yield those results.
Exactly. And that, think about it, like Katie just said, as far as hobbies, how many people get paid for their hobby? I love working on my old cars. You know how much they pay me to do it? Nothing. Nothing. I don't get paid anything. In fact, it costs me money to do it. And I have other hobbies. I like doing other things. I'm sure you guys do too. And you don't get paid to do your hobbies. So like Katie said, treat it like a business, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to pay you like a business, And so that leads me up to my next point. Isn't it funny how these conversations just lead you into the next thing, Rene? So when you're talking to somebody and they say, well, I'll try some of the products. What do you say to them versus if you're talking to somebody and you can tell right off the bat that they're gonna do this as a business. They're desiring to get a replacement income. How do you tell them to get started? What's the way that you say, here's how you need to get started versus here's how you need to get started?
Well, for me, the only way to get started, if I'm talking to somebody and I know that they're coming in as a business person to build. They're not going to, be a customer for 6 months and then go up. They're just going to, as I did, I came in to do the business. I explained to them that the pathway into the business is with the Wealth Builder Pack. It costs $315 for the first month. It's a one-time purchase, and then I just get them going that way and explain that what the goals, ask them, how fast they see themselves, if they got people they know are wanting to join them now, they might say, well, gosh, I know half a dozen people that have been aware of the age pill alone, and I know they want to get started as customers. Great, because that tells me automatically I can do the numbers that I know I can get this person to at least master builder, and it's really as simple as that. You find out what's a good fit for them. I mean, whenever somebody's looking for anything, nobody likes to be sold something, even if they need it or not. But if they get good customer service and they really feel cared for, they're not going to feel like they're sold something. It's like a pair of shoes. They're going to buy a pair in every color you got if you look after them right. And so it's just like looking after them the same way you would like to be treated yourself is the simple answer on that. But then once you get them in, their goal, when you're jumping, say, from master at 1,000 points to master builder at 2,500, you know that what it's going to sort of take in your mind, X number of customers, X number of builders before you take that next step. So that might be until you get that next builder, but you want to hold where you are, at least. That can be your goal going forward. Like I'm ready to go to my next level, but I know my other guy who's had some holdups getting started, that's going to be the next step for me. So I can already see that and feel that, knowing that's what it's going to take. So I'm not going to get frustrated if I didn't make it last month or this month, because your business does depend on as you build your team, and it does take time to find those people.
Right. Well, and Rene, and when we're talking about business, that's going to lead me into my next topic of discussion here, is that, when we're talking about business, I've been a business owner now. I've never had a job as an adult, but I've owned my own business since I was 25 years old. And I learned that every month you've got overhead. You've got certain expenses that it's going to take to run your business. Like in my clinic, I knew, here's how much I pay in rent. Here's what I pay in electric bill. Here's what I pay for, employees. Here's what I pay for water and sewer and all those different things. And so with Sizzle, every month, your monthly order that's your overhead. So look at it as treat it like a traditional business. That's your overhead. And like Rene and I were talking about earlier, when you look at it as your overhead and you start going, okay, I'm going to have this overhead every single month, that when you're building your business, you got to cover that. So if you can figure out how, and that's what we're here to try and teach you, figure out how to teach you how to cover that overhead every month. If you're making enough to cover the overhead, you're in business for free. And that's a good thing, right, Rene?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I say, that's what I've attained this year. And so am I successful? Yeah, I'd have to say I am, because I've got everything else I've got is write-offs.
Yep. And write-offs, there you go. If you look at that, I always looked at that as well. I don't have to pay taxes on that money. So, if money saved is money earned, right? That's what
absolutely.
Isn't that what Ben Franklin taught us?
Yeah.
And so as we're talking about money saved, that'll lead me into the next topic. I just think it's great how this just kind of leads me along. We're going to talk about the loyalty reward points. And, loyalty rewards are basically this. Sizzle has set up, they said, look, if you're a loyal customer, you have to be a loyal distributor because they haven't applied it to the customers yet. But if you're a loyal distributor and you buy products 4 months in a row, what they're going to do is they're going to give you back basically a rebate voucher. So if you're buying $100 worth of products every month for 4 months, on the 5th month, what they're going to do is they're going to turn around and they're going to say, okay, here's a 5% coupon for your first, second, third, fourth month. So you're going to basically get back a coupon that's worth 5% of everything that you spent. If you spend $200 per month, then what they're going to do is they're going to turn around on the 5th month. They're going to give you back a coupon that's worth 6% toward all the money that you spent in the previous 3 months. Now, I stress this for people, is that if you're spending $100 a month and then on the 4th month you forget to place your order, it wipes out the whole thing. You don't get paid. You don't get that loyalty rewards. You start from zero again. You don't get to go, whoops, and take a mulligan on it like you're playing golf. You don't get a mulligan in this. You really have to do it every month. But if you're spending $300 a month, they're actually going to give you 8% back on everything that you spent. And when you start moving up into the higher ranks, when you start being, a higher rank person, a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, then you actually have to have the $300 a month order anyhow in order to get paid the full commission. And so when you start looking at the compensation plan, it kind of fits. It kind of fits in place. But those loyalty rewards points, where they are is they're in your back office. When you go to place an order, when you place that order, right there, like Marilyn was saying, if you go there, I think it was Marilyn was saying it, there's a, that you click on that button and it'll say what you got in loyalty rewards, and then you use that, and then you have to pay for the shipping, or you have to pay for the balance with your credit card or your e-wallet. And you've got 30 days from when they award that loyalty rewards. You got 30 days to use it, or the money goes back to the company. And the other day on the Sizzle blog, I think it was yesterday, they put out a blog and they said there's thousands, thousands of vouchers that are sitting there unused. People aren't using their vouchers. They're not getting their free product. Holy cow. I mean, if the company's offering you free product, use that. But here's the problem, because I got a call last night from a friend of mine who's a distributor, and he said, well, where are they? How do I use them? And all of this. And he was asking me all these questions. I'm like, where have you been for the last 2 months? We've only been talking about this all summer. And I had to go through it with him. So pay attention to the Sizzle blog. When corporate sends out that blog, read it and maybe archive it someplace on your phone. I know Andrea talks about doing things like that, archiving everything onto her phone so she's got easy access to it. But put it somewhere where you're going to remember to look at it. Otherwise, what's going to happen is those vouchers are going to go away, and you're going to lose that extra free product that they gave you. But we also have another voucher that's going to be coming pretty quickly. I think Aaron had said before the end of October it'll be available, but don't quote me on the date, because it seems like whenever I say a date, then it's wrong. But I think he said it was by the end of October, at least by the end of the year. We're going to have a voucher that's going to be good for reimbursing us for all the shipping for the entire year. All of the shipping. So if you buy your product and you have it shipped with the 2-day shipping, like I do, I like to get my product now. If I order it today, I want to know exactly what day it's going to be here. I don't want to go, well, it's going to be here between 4 and 7 days. Now, I don't like that, because I can't plan around, well, it's like waiting for the cable man to come to my house and just sit there all day and wait for me, right? I like to know my product will be here in a couple of days. So I use the 2-day shipping, and then that way, at the end of 12 months, on the 13th month, they're going to reimburse you for all your shipping for everything you spent. But the stipulation on it is that you have to spend at least 250 PV per month, which isn't that much when you consider the value of these products and the effectiveness of these products. 250 PV just isn't that much. It's easy to do. So, Katie, I saw that you were trying to log in there. What's your thoughts? What were you gonna say? Katie? Maybe I saw that wrong.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, so I was just going to say, in regards to the coupons, if people are confused or need more information, in addition to going to the blog and reading the articles in there, because it does explain it, they can call up customer service and ask them to assist them. So United States customer service is open 5 days a week from, I think it's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It might be even 6 to 7 p.m. And now Australia's customer service hours have been extended. They're open from 9 a.m. on a Monday to 8 p.m. on a Monday, and same on a Tuesday. And then on a Wednesday and Thursday, they're open 4 to 8 p.m. If it goes to message bank, just call back. It just means they're busy. But the customer service will help people. So I guess it's really just putting in that little bit of effort to understand it. And what's really important for anyone who's on the call, any of you who have enrolled other distributors who have been ordering monthly, they'll have coupons too. So if you don't know the process yourself, then it's unlikely they will too. So please take the time to reach out to them and let them know about it.
Reach out to them. Exactly, Kate. That's so important. Let people know, and But that's why we have these calls every week, and that's why we send out the newsletter to just remind people that, you know, these things are there, that the tools are available for you. So, Rene, any other thoughts that you have on the coupons, on the value coupons?
Well, I think it's just such a generous opportunity for us from the company. I'm not sure, like you were and I discussed previously, whether that's going to be extended to our preferred customers. But right now, I mean, I think it's great for the people doing the business. It's a special opportunity. What I've been doing to save a little bit is phoning up, adding my voucher to my monthly shipment, so I'm not paying an extra shipping fee, because in Canada right now it's $32, which if that is hitting the credit card, that's more like $50 for shipping, even if it's just one bottle of age pill. So I just have it shipped now, and then they put the date back for the next month, so I'm actually able to ship the free products with my monthly order. It still qualifies me. So if that helps anybody to sort of understand or to get it along with their monthly qualifying order, then that's the way to do it. Phone in, for sure.
The only thing that I'd be careful with on that, Rene, is that I think a lot of people, they look at the PV when they're placing the order then, and then they automatically assume, oh, well, I got my 250 PV or my 300 PV, whatever the qualifying PV is. And then they don't remember that the PV from the loyalty rewards point does not count toward your it doesn't count toward your PV that you need to qualify each month. So you have to
that's right. And I mean, being free product, yeah, you should realize that you don't get any PV for that.
Right, and I think people realize that, but what happens is they look at the PV on the order and they assume that, oh, I got my PV, and they fail to look back and go, oh, yeah, there was a coupon involved with that.
Well, that's an interesting point, because when I looked at my PV, it just listed all the way down as 27, which didn't make sense, but it would just show 27 for everything. I had figured out what I was ordering and knew that it was well over what I needed, of course, and had noted that in my day timer. And then I wrote down the two, because I wanted to use that full coupon that I had. So I wrote down 2 products that equated that full amount, so that I wasn't sort of leaving anything on the table, and knowing that they were zero right. Volume points. Yeah.
Right. Well, and the other thing, after talking to my friend last night, the one thing that I thought about is that, he said, well, what if you got people who don't want to order $250 in product every month? And so I thought about that today, and I thought, well, why don't a couple people go together then and combine their I mean, obviously they're not going to be really business builders if they're worried about ordering $250 in volume. And so why don't they go together and merge 2 people together and place a $250 order together each month? And then that way, now you've got your 250 PV that you need. It qualifies you. So you can do that. You can do 2 orders. Like I could place an order today for 125, and then say, Rene, if we had a merged account, if we had an account together, then she could place an order for 125 tomorrow, and together that's 250. So that's another option for people if they want to try and figure out how they take advantage of that free shipping offer.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was trying to come up with ways on that. So anyhow, we're at the bottom of the hour here, and I try and keep it as close to half an hour as we possibly can. Rene, anything that you can think of on the compensation plan that over the course of the last month that's popped up, people have asked you questions, things that you can think of?
I did have a conversation with a friend, and their idea of how to build the Unilevel, they said, well, I have to build that first leg, and they didn't understand that every customer that comes in is on your frontier. So even though there's going to be no depth, that's just that person is deemed as a leg. So maybe they order 100 points a month, say, that's a small amount, but say just for an example, that is going to offset you for the 50% rule. So I think that may be a little bit confusing for people. So once you've got somebody in place that's a wealth builder, that's really all you're doing as far as that leg, because they're going to bring somebody in that brings somebody in that brings somebody in that brings somebody in, and down we go. And so you're bringing that next person in that is next to them. And again, that Unilevel is so easy. I love that compensation plan. So don't let that hold you up thinking that you have to build an entire leg. That comes with duplication.
Right. Well, I think I'm going to add this to what you just said. I was thinking about it as you were saying it, is that, one of the reasons that we changed the compensation plan, that Sizzle changed the compensation plan, was to prevent people from stacking everybody in one leg. Because, that really is, it's not legal anyhow in the network marketing field. But a lot of people feel like that was the way to do it. And like Rene was talking about, building one leg. What they encourage you to do is go out and find a couple people, help them, and then build a couple of legs. And then once you get a couple of legs going and you're helping them understand how to build and how to teach people how to get their products for free, then go and build a couple more, and then go build a couple more, and go build a couple more. And really that's the way to do it until you're 10 wide or 15 wide, and you have some good rock solid leaders in your group.
Yeah, absolutely. And really qualify your people. Find out what are they looking for.
That's right.
It takes time. I am building through social media. So as we were discussing the other day, that takes a bit of time, but I found my people on social media.
Right.
And again, the fact that we're open in so many businesses, or so many countries rather, pardon me, to me, that just screams global team, global organization. Why would one not, when we have the availability with Sizzle to have legs in different countries? I guess that's why I'm building in Australia.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, thank you, Rene, for being here with us every month and sharing your expertise and knowledge on how to build. Katie, I'm gonna bring you back on, and just if you want to close out the call for everybody, and just kind of if you have any extra things that you want to say, I'll let you do that now.
Thanks, Kurt. So thank you, everyone, for taking the time to jump on today's call. Really appreciate you taking the time. And if you're listening to the recording, thanks for catching up on the recording. So I hope you have a great weekend. Look out for Dr. Kurt's newsletter. It'll be coming out Tuesday morning Australia time, and it's Monday evening United States time. It'll be in your email box, and it's from Dr. Kurt. Some people have been missing it. So yeah, have a look out for it and take the time to read it. Hope you have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone.